Happy Monday to you. I'm RacQuelle from MHFamilyAdventures, and this is my Monday midday cruise Q&A. Feels like it's been a really long day. It feels like it's evening time, and it's not. I've been so busy. But welcome into our Monday midday cruise Q&A, where I answer cruise questions that you may have. If you are new here, I'm RacQuelle from MHFamilyAdventures. We are cruise content creators here on YouTube as well as over on social media. Preparing actually to leave tomorrow on my 86th or 87th cruise. Can't keep track. 86th or 87th cruise. I think 87th cruise tomorrow. Or is it 86? 86, 87th cruise tomorrow. And so I've cruised pretty much all of the major mainstream cruise lines. I'm branching off to luxury and um, to river cruising and things. So I don't want to say I'm an expert in cruising, but I'm very well versed in cruising. I'm also the owner of Major Adventures Travel Agency, where I focus on helping you plan your cruise vacations. And that's what I've been doing. I've been like just going crazy right now. It's just been so busy. We're so thankful for everyone that reaches out to us to plan their cruise. But welcome in again for Monday Midday Cruise Q&A. As you see, David Ruffin's gonna chill with us today, buddy. Look, yeah, he wants to chill there today, so he'll be there. But welcome in, everyone. Let me make sure I'm live over on Facebook. I hope you can hear me. Hopefully, we don't have any glitches like we had the last time I was live. Let me see if I'm live over on Facebook. Doesn't look like I am. Oh, I am. I am live over on Facebook. Alrighty. So let me go here to the chat and let's see who is here today on this Monday. It is a cold Monday here. I think it's going to be cold everywhere. I need a pack, so I'm leaving tomorrow. Um, I'm going to be boarding Virgin Voyages. I have a small group with me for a sail with me on board Scarlet Lady, and I don't know what I need to pack. If I need to pack something warm or something, something for tropical weather. But let's see here. Welcome in, Rochelle and Curtis. Appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much. Miss Portia, welcome into you. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome in, DeAndre. Happy Monday to you. Hope you are doing well. Savvy Voyages, welcome in. Welcome. Did you hit 1,000 subscribers? I think I heard that or saw that somewhere. If you did, congratulations to you on hitting 1,000 subscribers here on YouTube. I think you did. But welcome into you. Appreciate your support. Elisa, welcome in, and congratulations to you on your Meet and I award. It was for Best Podcast, I believe. And so if you guys have been following, let me just announce this because I haven't had a chance to even announce it yet on social media. We did walk away with 3 Meet and I awards. The award show took place on Saturday. What's today? Monday, Tuesday. Saturday. I think it happened Saturday. Thank you so much, Miss Portia, for becoming a channel member. We appreciate your support. So we walked away with Channel of the Year, Best Travel Channel, and People's Choice Awards. So we're so thankful for Meet and I for hosting this wonderful award show every year where they're honoring creators and just kind of sharing out. There's all types of creators that they acknowledge and recognize and just give their flowers, in the YouTube street. So we appreciate Meet and I. But welcome in, Elif McKinley. Appreciate you being here. Happy Monday to you. Zalera, welcome in, welcome in. Let's see here, just scrolling. Drea, welcome in. Good afternoon to you. Hope you are doing well. And guys, you can start dropping your cruise questions in the chat. I'm ready to start answering. I'm only going to be live for about an hour because I'm like kind of swamped right now with work. And I almost debated canceling today just because I have so much going on. And then I have to get packed too because I leave tomorrow. But and I'm not packed at all. It's this cute dog. Yeah, that's David Ruffin. He's a mini Bernie Doodle. Welcome in, Fam Lions. Appreciate you guys being here. Happy Monday to you. And welcome into everybody watching over on Facebook. A Junior, good afternoon to you. Miss Hall says, hello, finally off on a Monday to catch your light. That is correct. Yes, thank you for being here. And happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day for those of you who celebrate and honor. Hopefully you have some time off. I know Ron didn't have today off. And I don't know, I thought it was a federal holiday. Well, I guess it is a federal holiday, but like Ron had to work. I know a lot of people had to work today. So, but if you are home and able to enjoy the long break, then, hopefully you're enjoying it. I used to, and it's been a couple years because when I was in the school system, we would do a day on, not a day off, which is in honor of MLK. And I would be volunteering. And I have not even had a moment. Normally I'm cruising on MLK Day. But I think next year I'll be more mindful to make sure that I have a volunteering opportunity in line for a day on, not a day off. That's typically what I've done in the past on MLK Day. Let's see here. Big Murph, welcome in, welcome in. And congratulations to you on Best New Channel. Guys, be sure to check out Big Murph. He did win a Meet and I award for Best New Channel. And he's also saying happy MLK Day. Yes. Has David Ruffin started with the attitude yet? He hasn't seen the suitcase yet. So as soon as that suitcase pulls out, that's when he gets the attitude. Janine says it's cold here in Georgia. It is so cold here in Ohio. Like we cannot catch a break. We haven't thankfully had much snow this season, but it's been cold. Like I think it's supposed to drop tonight to sub-zero temps, wind chill. So yes. Savvy Voyages said, yes, I did. Oh, guys, be sure to follow Savvy Voyages. Just hit 1,000 followers over on YouTube. Congratulations. Ronnie, welcome and appreciate you being here. Gloria is saying good afternoon to everyone. All right, I'm just kind of scrolling. Tabitha says, does NCL have irons available? First question of the day. Don't know. Pretty much all cruise lines have irons available, either in a laundry room. I'm trying to think. The Norwegian ships that I've been on, I don't think they had laundry. Most cruise ships will have some sort of self-service laundry or a room that you can go to iron. Some other cruise lines have it to where you can check out steamers from guest services. They'll give you like maybe a 30-minute window to use a steamer and bring it back, just because they want to make sure that steamers, irons, things like that cannot be brought on board because they are a fire hazard. But it seems like a lot of cruise lines are doing away with like the self-service laundry as well as like the ironing rooms because they want you to pay for pressing service. So I don't know off the top of my head. I think it depends on the NCL ship, but I'm trying to think the NCL ships that I've been on, maybe I didn't pay attention to them, but I don't recall seeing laundry rooms. And typically that's where your irons are gonna be. But you can check with your room steward, you can check with guest services. If they don't have one available for your particular ship, then a lot of times they'll have them so that you can borrow for a little bit to iron on your own. I personally don't iron when I cruise. I don't iron when I'm at home, honestly. So I don't even know if we have an iron. So, but if you must iron, yeah, I would check with your room steward, check with the guest services. You can also look on the deck map for your ship and see if there are self-service laundry. If there's self-service laundry, there will be an iron there. You can't take it out of there, but it will be there for you to use. Um, Everyone saying congratulations. Thank you so much. Welcome in. Welcome in. Says hello from New York. It's cold here. Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine. Noelle says, hi from Providence, Rhode Island. Congratulations. My 40th birthday. I want to cruise for the first time with you. Okay. Well, my husband's from Providence. But yeah, reach out. We'd love for you to cruise with us or join us for one of our group cruises. Just kind of giving you a rundown on some of the cruises that we do have coming up. Like I said, I have a sale with me this week on Scarlet Lady, just a handful of ladies on board for me. Andrew was actually scheduled to be on board. That would have been his very first Virgin Voyages cruise. Just had to cancel him off 2 days ago because his Special Olympics basketball team won a game that I don't think we were expecting them to win. They won it. And so now they have to play in a tournament this weekend. And so I had to cancel him off. But so we have that coming up. We have Carnival Celebration, which is going to take place July 5th of this year, 7-night cruise Carnival Celebration if you want to join us. And all of these can be found on our website, majoradventurestravel.com. There's a groups tab that has all of our group cruises and sail with me opportunities there. But Carnival Celebration is our next one. We also have our Sisters Cruising Abroad, which is going to take place June 12th through the 19th. June 12th through the 19th on MSC World Europa. We are pretty much sold out for that. I have some cabins available, but they are a lot higher than what we originally advertised because the group rate is no longer. But if you are a lady and you want to join us, we are cruising out of Barcelona, different port stops in Italy. So really Italy and France. So excited for that. What else? What else? What else this year? Explore Journeys. If you want to get a taste of luxury, we will be cruising on Explore Journeys, or I will be. We're up to 10 cabins for this sailing. This is going to take place December 13th through the 20th. Luxury cruise line. I will actually be on board Explore again here soon, so stay tuned for that. Is that it for this year? I think that's it for this year. Next year is on and popping for group cruises. We're starting the year with our first timers group cruise taking place on MSC Seaside over MLK Day weekend. So I'm talking about volunteering. I will be volunteering because I will be there to help support our first time cruisers. The 15th through the 18th on MSC Seaside. If you are a new cruiser, new to MSC, want to join us on board, 15th through the 18th, MSC Seaside, that is a group cruise. We are doing MSC Seaview out of Martinique, which is going to be very port intensive Southern Caribbean itinerary for March of 2027. We have our New Orleans Land and Sea group cruise, joint group cruise with fellow creators, Carlene with Sea, Siobhan Parker's on the go, Kiki Team Reese Travels, Cheryl Sig the Solo Cruiser, and Regina the Travel Savvy Hub. We will be on board Carnival Dream in May of 2027. We're doing land and sea. You guys know New Orleans is my favorite city. And so we're going to spend 2 days in New Orleans, and then we're going to get on Carnival Dream for its inaugural sailing out of New Orleans. So really excited for that. Followed by Greece 2027, June. I don't know how I keep track of all this. June, we have our Greece cruise that we still have some cabins. I did open it up for more cabins. We're over 100 people right now. So if you want to get on board, we will be closing it off soon. And then there's one more. Anthem of the Seas Land and Sea Tour, taking place July 27th through sometime in August, a 10-night cruise/land tour. If you're interested, all of that information is in the groups tab on our website. All right, but if you are just popping in, I'm RacQuelle from MHFamilyAdventures. This is Monday Midday Cruise Q&A. I'm answering your cruise questions. So go ahead and start dropping any cruise questions you may have there in the chat. Good morning to you, Samantha. Appreciate you being here. Noel says, my first cruise, I'm afraid. And should I do a solo trip? First cruise, I'm afraid, and you should join us for our first timers group cruise on MSC Seaside. I have quite a few people that have been nervous to cruise. They want to get a little taste of cruising. 3-night is a good little sample cruise. This one is nice because we'll be at Ocean Cay in Nassau, so you can make one day a sea day if you choose, but you can experience 2 beautiful ports and just get a taste and a feel for cruising with fellow cruisers. So the whole family will be on board. We'll be there to help guide. We're going to do a few different Zoom calls, Zoom sessions for first-time cruisers before the cruise so that you're well prepared. So I would say that's a perfect opportunity to join us. And we planned it over MLK weekend because most people won't have to take off time or limited PTO time. So that would be a perfect opportunity. But if you are looking for something else, I would recommend 3 or 4 night cruise. Solo, keep in mind, you're going to pay double occupancy for most cruise lines, but there are some options available. Just send me an email. Email is cruise@majoradventurestravel.com. We'll see what we can find for you. Thank you so much. Henry says, congratulations. Thank you. Welcome in, Tanya. Yvette says, what camera or video do you use to do your content? For the most part, my iPhone. I have an iPhone 15 or 16 at this point. Most of everything you see online, like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, from my phone. Videos from YouTube, for the most part, are my GoPro. I think I'm GoPro Hero 13 now, but I kind of interchange the GoPro now in my iPhone. So most of everything's GoPro and iPhone. You don't need anything fancy. I'm not one to want to carry around a big camera, so it works perfectly for me just to have that, my phone and my GoPro. Everyone's congratulating. Welcome in on the Go with Yellow, and congratulations to you on your award for Best Solo Cruiser, Female Cruiser. Congratulations to you. Big Murph, good question, says, what was your favorite part of visiting RBC, which is Royals Beach Club in Nassau? The latest vlog, one of the latest vlogs that I just released. In fact, there's going to be a vlog that's going to be released today. I'm glad I just remembered because I totally forgot. I'm not at the premieres because I forgot. I don't even know what time it is. I think 6:15 or 6:20. I have a premiere tonight for Martinique. So stay tuned for that. But one of my last vlogs that I premiered was Royal Beach Club. This is Royal Caribbean's newest beach club, or only beach club in Nassau. Kind of somewhat like Coco Cay, but it's not free. You have to pay for a pass there. The passes either come with non-alcoholic drinks or alcoholic drinks. There's some food included. You have nice pools. You have the beach. It's a beautiful, beautiful area. Will I pay the cost? Now, the cost ranges. If you guys follow Royal Caribbean has dynamic pricing. So their pricing changes. One day you might log in and you might get a pass for $100. The next time it might be $200. So it just kind of changes. So it's hard to sell and talk about things when the pricing is constantly changing. And so I wind up paying like $140 or so for my day pass. I personally, even though I enjoyed myself, I probably would never pay that price again. because truly it's a pool or beach day. It was nice. It was a nice, they had three, and this is my favorite part to answer Big Murph's question. I love that the three areas are very distinct. So you have the chill side. And you can notice, and if you watch my video, you'll notice a clear difference as I'm walking across the different areas. So you have the chill side, which is just if you want to just a calm area, relaxing. They had a gentleman playing live music. It was very, very soft and mellow. So very quiet, very mellow. You have the beautiful beach. You have the nice pool. The pools are temp controlled, so not ice cold. Loved it. Then in between the chill side and the family side, you have the party cove. The party cove is a party. If you want to, very similar to if you've been to Coco Cay, to the what is the pool called? The Oasis Lagoon. Sometimes Oasis Lagoon is kind of like a party. This is what that is. So Party Cove, loud music, really loud music. Too much techno for me. I didn't care for that. But it is the party scene if you like to party. That was the most crowded section of the entire place. Then you have the family area. They have a few like little games for the kids to play. They have a nice pool there with the sloped entry. And of course, the beach and all of that there. So, my favorite part of it was just how distinct all of the areas were. And there's going to be a place for everyone. So, regardless of your style, your vibe, you're going to find a spot there. My least favorite part about a Royal Beach Club would be the cost, one, and the food. But it does sound like Royal is starting to already roll out some new menus. I got a memo as a TA that they were testing out some new menu items because some of the feedback that they're getting is that it's not worth the cost for me to get chicken tenders and burgers because I mean you're paying for beach club. If you go to any other all-inclusive resort, you're not, I mean you're gonna have burgers and hot dogs on the menu, but you're gonna get other options like jerk chicken and peas and rice and things like that. And it was kind of limited with that. So I may try it again once I see what that menu is about. But yeah. So yeah, Royal Beach Club. But also speaking of Martinique, be sure you stay tuned tonight for the vlog because Dyson, our son Dice, he's making his editorial debut. I'm to the point where I have to relieve myself of some of the things that I'm doing, and editing is like my biggest headache. So I literally gave him all of the content. I said, "Hey, you know how my videos flow. You know exactly how I want things, do this for me." He did. I paid him. And when I watched it, I was like, wow, like it is almost as if I edited it myself. There were a couple little tweaks I had to make, but very minor. So moving forward, Dice will be the one behind the editing for our channel because I can't keep track with the editing, the vlogging, the creating content, coming up with content ideas, having group cruises that, the agency is just crazy. So make sure you stay tuned for that because I was really impressed with how he edited that vlog. Samantha, welcome in. Says, do you recommend traveling alone first before with kids, just to know what it's all about? I'm nervous about it. We've never been on a vacation. Sometimes for me, I understand that wanting to kind of set the tone and know what to expect before you go. So it depends on your family. If you tend to do that with things, you tend to prepare, plan, and then share, then I would say continue that flow for your family. But for me, part of the traveling is experiencing things for the first time. And if you've never traveled, just know things aren't going to be perfect, but it's just making those memories as a family. We're doing this as perfectly as we can, and we're experiencing it together. So me personally, I probably wouldn't take a trip without the kids first. I want them to kind of just get in it with me, and honestly it helps them build character because they're seeing you going through the motion of you know traveling and creating itineraries and having this and that. So it helps them also build character and start practicing for whenever it's time for them to start traveling on their own. So it just depends on your flow of your family. I know there are some families that, maybe your children have anxiety and you just kind of want to mellow that down. So it might work best for you to go kind of peep it out and then come back and share this is what to expect. But there's so many content creators out there. There's so much content out there that a lot of times you don't have to leave from home to experience something, to kind of have an idea. So I would say maybe if you're looking at a certain ship, maybe go online, look up some ship tours to get more information and then kind of get a feel whether you feel you might need to go do it first and then come back and do it. But I would just do it with the family because I think that would be fun. Welcome in, Miss Danielle. Appreciate you being here. Says it's cold down here in Central Florida today. I heard that, so I got to figure out what I need to what I need to pack for this trip. Welcome in, Delaire says it's cold here in Oklahoma. I bet it is. And welcome into the 133 watching. If you guys wouldn't mind hitting that like button for us, and if you are new here and you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. We have tons of cruise content coming out, already out there actually. And I'm preparing to go on my 87th cruise. Not tomorrow. I travel tomorrow. My 87th cruise on Wednesday. Wednesday. So stay tuned for that. And we have quite a few vlogs that'll be coming out here soon. Let's see here. Amanda says, just curious if you book cruises for Canadians to be able to pay in Canadian dollars. For the most part, if I book a Canadian, they have to pay in USD. I know some travel agencies are different, and it has to do sometimes with the booking platform more so than not. The biggest thing for me, honestly, is if I'm going to do Canadian dollars, I have to contact the cruise lines. And anytime a payment has to be processed, I have to call them, and it becomes more of a hassle, honestly. When I do 98% of my business just on the computer, so having to call and have them convert and then put it in Canadian dollars, and every time a payment has to be processed, I have to call. For the most part, we only accept USD for Canadians. It's just a little extra hassle. Welcome in, Damien and Quanda. Appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much. Watching on Facebook. Belinda, welcome in, welcome in. Says, hello from Seattle. Would you recommend a cruise on Carnival Magic? Yeah, I sure would. We were on Carnival Magic November 2023 for Thanksgiving. It is one of the medium-sized Carnival cruise ships. I think it's perfect size. It has great amenities. It's one of the least expensive Carnival cruises for like a longer cruise. So they tend to operate like 6 to 8 night cruises. And I think that it offers a great value. But I've heard mixed reviews on it. Some people don't like the green interior. If you go in, it's like emerald green throughout. I think it's quirky. We didn't have any issues on Carnival Magic, and I would sail on it again. Drea says, if a cabin was booked initially for a solo cruise, could another person be added later to the same cabin? If so, is there a deadline for this to be done? Yeah, you can always, if you are booked solo, or even if you have, two people in the cabin, you always want to add someone, you can always add someone up until the point that the cruise sells out or that cabin category sells out for that number of guests. So if you have one in the cabin, you can pretty much add anyone up until the time the entire cruise sells out. I get this a lot because people will say, oh, kind of last minute, I want to add someone to my cabin. Once the ship sails out, even if you are solo and you technically have a second bed, they will not allow you to add anyone because the ship is at its max. They have to balance the number of guests with muster stations, kind of where your lifeboats and things are. And so even if you have an extra bed, once the ship sells out and it's no longer available, they will not allow you to add. So I always recommend doing it before final payment, but you can technically do it up until it sells out. But also know if it's not a double cabin, let's say you already have two people and you want to add a third person, a lot of times those triple and quad cabins sell out so quickly. And so if you decide to do that, it could be before final payment that you couldn't add them because you have to move into a cabin that's going to accommodate three. For the most part, most cruise lines will only let you book guests based on the number of people booking at the time. So if you are two people, I can't put you in a triple cabin. It has to be in a double cabin. So then you have to go through that shuffling cabins. Sometimes people don't like that because if they're traveling with others, they might have multiple cabins kind of side by side. So it kind of messes up the flow when you add people. So I always recommend doing it sooner than later, but technically you could do it up until the ship sells out. Let's see here. Janine says, yes, thank you for asking her the type of camera. Also, to use a drone. No, I do not use a drone. I keep saying I'm going to get my drone license, but no, I don't use a drone. If you see any aerial shots or what seem to be aerial shots or shots where like I'm kind of standing there and something's spinning around me, it is my Insta360. It is a 360 camera. Absolutely love it. It comes on this long stick. It's called an invisible stick, although it's not invisible, but it looks invisible from by the time you edit, the stick's not showing. So I personally love it. Insta360. But at some point I will. At some point I will get a we'll get a drone. Thank you so much. Everyone's congratulating on the awards. Let's see here. Emed New York says, what ships do your kids like the best? In particular, what water slides do they like the best? I think our kids have kind of phased out of keep in mind, we have kids. You guys have been following, most of you guys have been following from the very beginning. Our kids are almost grown now. So Andrew will be 21 soon. He's never done the water slides. Like he doesn't like water. So, and if you guys don't know, Andrew's our son with autism. So he's not doing water slides. Dice likes water slides, but he's kind of to that cool teenager, soon to be 18, not really doing that much anymore. He'll do any water slide. He prefers, him and Joe Marie, they like any dropper slides. The slides I definitely won't go on. They love like the dropper slides that you'll find on some of the bigger ships. So they like those. But as far as the ships, our kids, honestly, they prefer Carnival over any other cruise line. And it's actually funny because we are booked. We were supposed to do a mom and son cruise on Wonder of the Seas, which is still taking place next month. And Dice asked to not go. Long story is that we have some other cruises planned, and so he's trying to balance being away from home, being away from his girlfriend, that kind of thing. And then the final comment was, well, if it was a Carnival cruise, I wouldn't be canceling. So they definitely prefer Carnival over Royal. But they also haven't really been on the Icon class yet. So I think once they get on Icon class, that could change things up a little bit. But they prefer Carnival. Let's see here. Denise says, "Good morning, doctor. Keep showing up and showing out." I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Team Reese Travels, welcome in, welcome in. Appreciate you being here. And shout out to all of our channel members watching. I can't see who the channel members are because of the platform I'm on right now, but if you are a channel member and you're here, we appreciate you. Let's see here, but continue to drop your cruise questions. I'm just kind of scrolling through. Let's see here. Shamika says, "Good afternoon and happy Monday. Is there a way to book the RE experience on MSC with myself and my son, who's 17? I want to do a mom and me cruise, but online it shows adults only." I don't think Aria is. Aria is not adults only. Let me look it up. I'm almost positive, unless that's a new change. Sometimes MSC will make changes and they will not tell you what the changes are. No, it's not. Mm-mm. MSC Aria, if it's not showing online, it may not be available. But Aria is not adults only. I'm positive I booked families because a lot of times with MSC, cabins for five, like they're hard to come by. And so the guests that I've booked with families, they're typically in an Aria suite or Aria balcony that might hold five. So yeah, for sure you can book a 17-year-old, but it may not be available. Also, ask yourself, what is it that you want from Aria? I book a lot of MSC cruises, sold over 500,000 or so last year in MSC alone. And I always ask that question. I'm all about, of course I want the sale. Of course I want it to be a high sale, but I'm also about making things logical, make it sense. So if you tell me, hey, I want to book the Aria experience, I might ask you, what are you looking for in Aria? Sometimes, depending on the ship, the RE experience may not be worth it. A while ago, like 2 years ago, the RE experience would include things such as drinks and some Wi Fi. They've since scaled that down. So, RE experience, for the most part, you're getting a preferred spot on the ship, meaning your cabin's more than likely going to be midship. Some ships, though, because I had a client recently get back, I think on Seashore, sometimes like the Aria balconies are the balconies people don't want because they're the long balconies, but they're the balconies that people can look down on your balcony. So you have to be careful with that. So really you're getting a preferred spot, which is going to be midship, like usually straight center. You're going to get anytime dining. So if you're somebody that prefers to have anytime dining, Aria is the only experience where you can have anytime dining. So that might be a reason to book it. But other than that, there's really not. I think you get a bottle of wine now. That's about it. In some ships, the Aria, what do they call it? The top 18 solarium, whatever they call it. That area on some ships is just a bunch of chairs, nothing else, nothing fancy. Some of them don't even have bars. So if you want that exclusive area, not pay yacht club price, I get it. But I always say, ask yourself, why are you booking Aria versus booking Fantastica? Because some ships, it may not be worth it. MSC World America might be worth it, some of the newer ships, but if you're looking at any of the older ships, I would say look at videos of what the Aria space looks like. Ask yourself, do you need anytime dining? And is it worth getting a bottle of Prosecco? Because honestly, that's what you're getting. But look into it and see if it works for you. Let's see here. Zakiya, Zakaya, welcome in. Appreciate you being here. It says day off, first time catching you live. Well, I appreciate you being here. Lida Shay, welcome in. Appreciate you being here as always. Um, Kristen Charlie says, "Are you joining the Margaritaville at Sea seminar for TAs?" I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know that was a thing. But I might be on Margaritaville at Sea soon to highlight the new changes that took place on Margaritaville at Sea Paradise. If you guys don't know, I think it actually set sail today for the first time since it had a $2 million dry dock. It updated like the buffet in different areas, so I might be on board to highlight that for Margaritaville at Sea. But I didn't know there was a seminar at sea for TAs. I don't think I would attend that honestly. I don't sell a lot of Margaritaville at Sea. It's like one of my least book. I just don't book a lot of it. Rosell, is it Rosell? Says Celebrity Cruises thoughts. I personally like Celebrity. My second favorite ship is Celebrity Ascent, but you have to ask yourself, is Celebrity your vibe? Celebrity tends to attract a middle-aged to older crowd, especially on the longer sailings. Some would say not always the most diverse when you're looking at mainstream cruise lines, but it's a very chill atmosphere. Celebrity, for the most part, even their older ships, the buffets are going to be way better than like your Royal Caribbean buffet, MSC, you know. So the food quality on Celebrity, because it's a premium cruise line, is a little bit better. I personally would not recommend Celebrity for families with children because they don't have water slides, they don't have kids areas. They do have kids clubs, but their hours are very limited. So I would, caution families on booking with Celebrity. But sometimes you have some really nice itineraries with Celebrity to where it's worth, taking your kids along. But don't go to Celebrity thinking there's going to be water slides and rock climbing walls and things like that. But if you like good food, good entertainment, kind of chill vibe, I would say definitely go for Celebrity. And Celebrity has some really good rates right now for like Celebrity Summit, Celebrity Reflection, some of their older ships that are operating 3 and 4 night cruises. They have some really great rates going on right now. Uh, Living to Do says, what is special about an inaugural cruise? How's it different from a regular cruise? Just to say you were the first on board. I mean, really, that's what it is. For me, as a content creator and as a travel agent, a lot of times it's important to be one of the first on board, whether it's through invite, because sometimes we are invited on by the cruise lines. Sometimes we pay to get on board. It's important because you get the content out there first, then, it helps you grow on social media, it helps you grow on YouTube, but it also brings in clients. So for me, it's important to do that, but it's not for everyone. And honestly, the difference is you're like one of the first to sleep in that cabin. It's going to have that new ship smell, but you can still get a new ship smell for the first few months. Sometimes a lot of times you'll get like swag, but I don't book cruises for swag. Some people book cruise, like some people will book an inaugural cruise just to get, a backpack and a hat. That's not my vibe. But you'll get that type of swag. Sometimes inaugural sailings will also have special guests, special visitors. But it seems like lately the cruise lines have been moving, like they've been adding like media sailings, which I've been invited on a few media sailings. They'll have media sailings and like preview cruises that a lot of times those celebrities or special guests will be on board for. So an inaugural sailing is just like one of the first. And nowadays, honestly, there's always so many cruises before the inaugurals. If you guys have followed Royal Caribbean lately, like when Star of the Seas came out, they had what 4 or 5 preview cruises, and then the original date that they had for Star of the Seas was the inaugural, but it was like 7 or 8 sailings in. So, um, yeah. Quality Chalker says Royal Beach seems not worth the price for me. Like I said, I wouldn't pay that price for it again. I would go again if the price is right. I would maybe pay that price if I was like on a group cruise, if I was taking a girls trip and just wanted to hang out and party. I would pay it. I would never pay that for the whole family. If our family of 5 is on Royal, we stopped in Nassau, we're going to the free Junkanoo beach because I'm not paying that for the whole family. Absolutely not. Um Big Merc says, "Oh, that's great regarding." Yeah, they are. They're updating the menu. Um, Everyone's congratulating Dice. Do you recommend the tubing through the cave in Belize? Yeah, I actually have a vlog on it. That was one of our favorite excursions in Belize. I would say this though, if you have sensitive skin, be cautious. Our daughter did break out in a complete full body rash. That was her first time having to visit medical on board a ship. We went cave tubing in Belize. She has sensitive skin. We don't know whether it was the tube that caused it or if it was the water, something in the water, but she had a full on body rash. We do have a vlog about that. But it was absolutely fun. I would not recommend it if you have mobility challenges because depending on um, the current, or depending on there's been rain and things, it could be kind of bumpy, kind of rocky. And depending on the company that you use to go river tubing, you might have to carry your own tube. The one that we booked, the tubes were waiting for us down the river. So you had to kind of hike quarter of a mile or so to get to the meetup point. Very scenic hike, very beautiful. We loved it. But imagine if you're not booked with the right company and you have to carry your tube that distance. We didn't have to, but there were some that were carrying their tubes. Um, Christina says, "What is the longest cruise you've ever done, and where and which cruise ship?" The longest cruise I've ever done, 7 nights. I've never done anything above 7 nights, and I've done quite a few 7 night cruises. Um, Probably Chalker says, "Are you going on NCL, Luna, or is it Aura?" As of now, I'm not booked, but I'm looking at it. I can tell you I won't be on one of the first sailings of Aura. I think I'm saying that right. Because we have a group cruise during that time. But I am looking. How do you feel about Cayman Islands? I like Cayman Islands. The only challenge with Cayman Islands, it is a tender port. If you don't know what a tender port is, the ship can't dock right to the pier. So it is one of those ports that could get canceled if there's inclement weather, but I think it's beautiful. Probably one of my favorite islands. I don't feel like I get there enough. But just know that it's a tender port. So you have to plan accordingly as far as your excursions and things. But amazing snorkeling. You can go snorkeling. You can do the Stingray City. We've gone to the Turtle Sanctuary and gone snorkeling there. There's dolphins. You have 7 Mile Beach. So there's a lot to do there. Welcome in, Esther. Appreciate you being here. Um, let's see here. I have not been on a Viking cruise, not yet. Not yet. Welcome in, Lewis from Dominican Republic. Appreciate you being here. Let's see here. Are there any workarounds, hacks for flying? These flights in Baltimore are outrageous. Honestly, I feel like flights is kind of a touchy subject. Um, I personally, I'm not loyal to any airline. I'm gonna fly with whoever's cheapest, honestly. That doesn't have as many layovers. We fly Spirit to Florida 90% of the time because we can get $50 flights going down. And we just do like carry on only or backpacks or whatever. So I have no problem. But some people are like, I'm not flying cheap. But I'm like, for me, it's just 2 hour flight. Like, why would I pay $400 or $500 for one flight just to sit for 2 hours? I'm getting to the same destination as you, but I paid $50. So I personally, one of our hacks, which we haven't done in a while. Thank you so much, Ellen, for subscribing. I appreciate that. Something that we haven't done in a while is we would look at airport airports near us. So like we're in Columbus, Ohio. So there have been times where we might have driven to Dayton to catch a flight because it was a lot cheaper. There were a few times in the very beginning um, where might go to Cincinnati or Cleveland. We don't do that anymore because time is money. So, um, in my mind, it's like I have to do whatever saves time now. So that's more valuable to me than saving the $100 or whatever. So I would say maybe look at different airports near you to see what might be available that way. I've also done things such as if the flight is too high going to Orlando, I've flown into Jacksonville. Jacksonville is my home city, and then drive the 2.5 hours to Port Canaveral. So, just get creative with it that way. But I'm not loyal to any airline. I'm going to fly whoever's the cheapest. Rossell says, Carnival Venecia cruise coming up. Enjoy. Um, Zakai says, if I book two people on a cruise and one of the people decided not to come, can I put someone else in the place if the cruise has already been paid for? A lot of times, no. A lot of times after final payment, any changes, there are some cruise lines that have exceptions. For instance, Virgin Voyages, if you have somebody that needs to cancel out, I think up until a week before, you can change the name. You can't cancel them off and get a refund, but you can change the name without there being a penalty. Most cruise lines, though, you can't do that. After final payment, if you change a name, it's considered a cancellation. So you can't just change the name and it's fine. Sometimes you can get that waived depending if you have a good travel agent. Sometimes they can convince them to let you change the name, but for the most part, after final payment, it's considered a cancellation if you have to change someone. Um, MSC will allow you to do a name change up until 30 days before your cruise. So that is one. But Carnival, no, they're not really flexible. Royal Caribbean, not really flexible. Celebrity is flexible, I think up until 14 days. Celebrity will let you do a name change, but it just depends on the cruise line. But for the most part, once you've paid in full, you're pretty much locked in for most cruise lines. Welcome in, Will G. Says, hey from Cozumel. Are you on a cruise? Appreciate you being here. Says some cruise ships won't allow drones. Yes, that is accurate. That is accurate. Welcome in, House of X. Appreciate you being here, and congratulations on your meet and I think you had 2 awards, maybe. But congratulations to you. Your sis Cassandra, welcome in. Appreciate you being here and all of your support. Mr. Retha, welcome in. Says on Carnival, I've read reviews about Faster to the Fun, and some have had poor experience with perks and asked for a refund. What's your take on it? From um, Faster to the Fun for me is a waste of money, honestly. So if you aren't familiar with Faster to the Fun, it is a program that you can purchase for your whole cabin that's supposed to give you priority access. If you are already platinum, diamond, or if you're staying in a suite, you don't need Faster to the Fun. Faster to the Fun is going to allow you to have a dedicated section in the terminal so that you're one of the first to get on board. But keep in mind, you're only going to be one of the first on board if you select an early embarkation time. Keep in mind, platinum, diamond suites are going to have first access because we can check in 16 days before the cruise. So a lot of times, by the time everyone else is checking in 14 days before the cruise, a lot of times those 10:30, 10 a.m., 10:30, 11 o'clock time slots are gone. So then what happens is if you have Faster to the Fun, if they've already started boarding, and let's say your boarding time is 12 o'clock, it's like it was useless. Like, it was useless because it wasn't like you're one of the first on the ship. But if you are lucky enough, because I had a client that was upset because they had Faster to the Fun, but by the time they did their online check-in time was 1 o'clock. And so they were like, well, can I just go to the terminal? Will they let me in? And I said, there's no guarantee. Carnival is a little more stricter than like Royal Caribbean and some other cruise lines. So I'm like, there's no guarantee. It depends on the mood of the person working. They weren't able to get on board early, and so they were upset because they had this priority. So I feel like to if they allowed Faster to the Fun check-in 16 days before, it might be a little bit worth it. But honestly, you're only getting on board a few minutes before everyone else because they're going to board your diamonds first, then your platinums, then your suite guests, then they're going to do Faster to the Fun, or maybe suites first, diamond, platinum, then Faster to the Fun, then everyone else. So it's not needed. If you check in early, you can get an early embarkation time. You don't need Faster to the Fun. The other perk for Faster to the Fun is a dedicated line at guest services. Honestly, how often do you need to go to guest services? And then because some sailings, and this is why Carnival has changed the VIFP program, some sailings, the Faster to the Fun lane is with the diamond and platinum guests. Sometimes that diamond platinum line is longer than the regular line. So you're still waiting in line. You're supposed to have like a dedicated 1-800 number to call guest services. They don't ever answer it. And then you're supposed to get priority transfer water tender. So if you're docking at Half Moon Cay, Grand Cayman, Princess Key, some of those places, you should get priority, like one of the first shuttle tickets. But if you're somebody that likes to sleep in and you don't want one of the earlier times, what is the point? So you have to ask yourself, do you need that priority? Are you willing to pay $140 for your cabin for this access that you may not even use? So for me, it's not worth it. For most of my clients that have had it, it's not worth it for them. Because you can plan strategically to be one of the first on the ship. And, some people don't want to be the first on the ship. So Faster to the Fun, I think, is a waste of money. Just my thought. Welcome in, Bryce. Appreciate you being here. That's my husband. Is there a support group for husbands whose wives spend most of their time cruising for work? I have to work. We're making good money doing what we do. So we got to keep it up. Everyone's laughing at him. Which sailing are you most looking forward to? My 100th cruise. I'm looking forward to my 100th cruise. If you're a channel member, you know where we're going. If you're not a channel member, you'll find out when it happens. But that's the cruise I'm most looking forward to. Let's see here. Shamika says, I'm looking at MSC Seaside leaving out of Miami with the balcony room with the drinks and Wi-Fi included, and anytime dining. Oh, for the Aria. Yeah, so yeah, you'll get anytime dining. Now, the drinks and Wi-Fi aren't included with Aria. You've added that on as part of the promotion. MSC Seaside is one that the Aria, if you just go online and look up the Aria deck on MSC Seaside, it is truly just a deck right above the pool deck. like a part of the deck and they just have lounge chairs. So only if you stay in ARIA accommodations will you go there. Me personally, I'm not one to sit on a pool deck. I'm not one to lounge like outside like that much. So for me, ARIA is not worth it. But if you're somebody that wants to have a lounge chair not being by the pool or a crowded area, it might work for you. But it's really for me, it's not worth it. But your ARIA package did not include drinks and Wi-Fi. It was just the promotion you selected. Heinz says, "Sounds to me it's not worth it." Yeah. Is it Shanidra says, "How do you feel about Margaritaville at Sea? Thinking about booking, but I want to be as comfortable as I am with Carnival." If you like Carnival, you'll like Margaritaville at Sea. Margaritaville at Sea, though, their ships are a little bit older. So if you get icked out by older ships, it might not be for you, especially Paradise. So you have Margaritaville at Sea Paradise, Margaritaville at Sea Islander. I would say go for Islander over Paradise. Islander's a bit more updated. Paradise is kind of, it has some really old spots. My biggest issue with Paradise is that like the plumbing system is kind of old, so it's hard to flush. So you have to kind of plan for that. Like almost like you have to have a gallon of water to put down or whatever. I mean, that's not actually what you need, but it just doesn't flush. So I've always had that issue with it. So I get icked out about that. But I would say give it a try. If you like Carnival, Margaritaville Sea's vibe is very similar to Carnival's. I personally like them. I just want them to have better ships, nicer ships. I like their vibe though. But I would say give it a try, especially if you cruise Carnival. And if you are military, first responder, educator, you can possibly get a free sailing with them through their Hero Sail Free program. You just go on their website, the upper right hand corner, there's a button that says Hero Sail Free. There's a GovX verification you have to go through, and it'll list all the sailings that you can get on low cost, either low cost or free. You just pay the taxes fees. Welcome in, Travels with PNB. Appreciate you being here. Erica says for Carnival's free specialty dining celebration, if you had 5:30 dining, can you make the other dining shebang? Good question. So Erica's referring to shebang and Cucina del Capitano. If you're cruising on Carnival Jubilee, Carnival Mardi Gras, or Carnival Celebration, those are two specialty dining, which I don't even know why we're calling them specialty dining anymore because they're free. But those are two specialty dining options that are complimentary. The way it works is if you have a 5:30 dining time, they're expecting you to be in the main dining room. So they won't let you make a reservation for those until like 7:30. So if you're okay with dining at 7:30 that one night that you're going to be at Cucina or one night you're going to be at uh Cucina or Chibang, then that's fine. But if you're somebody like us, we like to eat at 6, so that doesn't work. So for instance, we have an upcoming sailing on one of these XL class ships. We have anytime dining because with anytime dining, you can select anytime. So once dining opens, you can select to walk in at 5 o'clock, 5:30. But if you have a set dining time, you have to wait till your dining time has passed in order to select the specialty dining, the included specialty dining. Now, if you're doing the steakhouse or Emeralds, or if you're doing um, Rudy, is it Rudy's or is it Rudy's? The seafood restaurant? If you're doing any of those, you can just schedule those whenever you want. But the Cucina and Shebang, you actually schedule those on board the ship, and you can't do it till after your dining time if you have a set dining time. Christina says, "I love celebrity." Yes, absolutely. Jennifer says, "Can you discuss getting cruises through your casino points or spending? I believe you just did ratings this way. Thank you. Loving your content." Okay, so I am not a casino expert when it comes to getting points and this and that or whatever. I just had a little bit of luck with getting some, and we don't always get free sailings. I would say follow Linnell. Poverty to Paradise. She has grown so fast on YouTube, and she shares all the tips, tricks for casino offers and how she lives on cruise ships based off of her casino spend. She is awesome. But there's no rhyme or reason. There's really no rules. The cruise lines, they do have like Royal Caribbean, they have their Casino Royale program. If you go online, it'll tell you how many points you need to get like a free sailing. So if you're a certain level, you get one free sailing per year. But I will tell you this, the offers continue to happen. I have not spent much on Royal Caribbean and I now get offers. My offers aren't really good offers. Like I get Radiance of the Seas, I get Explorer of the Seas, I get Grandeur of the Seas, I get the old ships, but it might be like an interior cabin for one guest, sometimes two guests. So I'll get those types of offers. I have not spent enough in the casino to get like Icon of the Seas or, Utopia and things like that. So it really just varies. But what's nice about the casino offers, I will tell you this, I probably spent when I started getting the offers. Thank you so much, Nicole, for subscribing. I appreciate it. When I first started uh in the casino, when I first started getting offers from Royal Caribbean, I think I probably spent about $300 and then I started getting offers. It's not guaranteed. Like it's not guaranteed because it depends on the points. So I do slot play. Again, I've heard slot plays, you get it faster than table plays, but I don't know for sure because I don't test that. I don't test those theories out. I just go play because I like to play. And if I get an offer, I get an offer. But what's beautiful about them is the offers continue to happen. So as long as you maintain that level, you will get so many offers. And a lot of these offers you can use multiple times. So a lot of times people will get these casino deals and they'll say, okay, I have 6 offers and I can redeem these 6 offers. And this is what Linnell does from Poverty to Paradise is I can book this one offer 6 times. So she does back to back to back to back sailings. So you can do that. Carnival, at one point, I don't get any more Carnival offers. I think with Carnival, I did like maybe $400, and Carnivals were like completely free offers. So I was getting those. So my rule is like I might go in and say, I have $400 in my pocket. I'm willing to play that plus some of what they give me back. So I'll just keep playing on that. But once my 400 is gone, that's that. But once you do that once, you'll keep getting offers. So with Carnival, for probably 2 years, we really weren't paying for at least one of our cabins on Carnival because that one time I played so much that I had all these offers. I don't get them anymore though. Celebrity, I did Celebrity, and actually Celebrity has probably been the best for me because I spent the least. So Celebrity, I started getting offers when I was on board Celebrity Silhouette, which was March. Um, I went into this cruise saying I wasn't spending any money, I wasn't doing anything. I had an excursion canceled. So they gave me back like $140 for my excursion. So I was like, well, I might as well go to the casino. I literally played that 140 only, and I get free casino offers for Celebrity. So they're interior cabins on older ships. Sometimes they might throw in Celebrity Beyond, but it's no rhyme or reason, honestly. And I don't like to even advise people of that because I don't want you taking that chance off my word, but there are some creators out there that kind of guide you through on how they did it. And like Linnell has spreadsheets about, points, and check out Poverty to Paradise. She can help you out there. I think I just kind of willy-nilly go in the casino. If I get an offer, I get one. MSC though, MSC has really good offers too. And MSC's is very clear cut how many points you need to get. So if you're playing at a slot or a machine, it might say you need 1,500 points to get a free cruise, and you will have that free cruise certificate before you leave. So it's very clear cut. Other cruise lines, they say, like, I don't even think my level is high enough with Royal to where I should be getting free offers, but I do. So I don't know. Let's see here. Zakiah says, but before I continue, we have 183 watching. If you are new here, first time watching, you wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button. I am Raquel from MH Family Adventures. We are cruise content creators. I go live on Mondays for this Monday Midday Cruise Q&A to answer your cruise questions. I am also the owner of Major Adventures Travel Agency, where we help you plan your cruise vacations. We only plan cruises. It's been a very, very, very busy time, and all we do is plan cruises. And I take cruises, so I cruise almost full time, operate the agency full time, and create content. So if you're into that kind of stuff, you love cruise content, tips, tricks, excursions, this and that, give us a follow, subscribe to our channel. We are on the road to hitting 50K this year. That is our plan. So we would love for you to follow along. But Zakiah says, are there any cruise lines that allow the primary person to be under 21? I heard that Margaritaville allows this, but that's kind of hard to believe when it's called Margaritaville. No, no. For the most part, the primary person can be under 21, but there has to be an adult that's 25 or older. So some cruise lines won't even let you cruise if you're 21. They require that you have at least somebody 25 and older. It depends on the cruise line. There are some that will let you be 21, but if you're under 21, you cannot cruise without there being someone 25 or older on the cruise ship. There's just these laws. Now, if you're cruising abroad, that's different. So like MSC, for instance, you can cruise MSC abroad at the age of 18. You cannot cruise MSC out of like Miami at 18. You have to be 21, but they also want you to have somebody 25 on board. You can have your own cabin, but you have to have somebody older. So there are there's some fine print to that. If you are military, they will allow it. If you are married, they will allow it. But again, each cruise line kind of has different rules with that. But for the vast majority of cruise lines, you must be uh, 21, but have somebody 25 or older on board the ship. So, like, if I were to get a group of 21-year-olds saying, "Hey, I want to get on Carnival. Can you book me on Carnival?" I have to make sure that they have somebody 25 that's on board. That's kind of like their chaperone there. That's there with them. If they're under 25. Hope that makes sense. And I hope I said that right. I might not have said that right, but uh let's see here. Sorry, scrolling. Says, how can a cheaper weekend Carnival cruise for one? Carnival, you're gonna pay double occupancy. So if you're cruising for one, you can find a cheap rate, but just know you're paying for two people. Ms. Crawford says, your content is so helpful. When are you coming back to cruise from the West Coast? Thank you so much for your support. I don't have any West Coast cruises. Thank you so much, Stella. I appreciate you subscribing to our channel. Um, do we have any West Coast cruises on the books? No, we don't. We don't. What honestly, West Coast cruising is not my favorite. And this is why. I've always said this. I can go to Greece, I can go abroad and not have an issue with the time difference. I struggle going to the West Coast every time, regardless if it's a land-based trip, whatever, I struggle. And so unless I'm doing a 7-night cruise out of the West Coast, those 3-night cruises, I'm just like completely exhausted the whole time. 4-night cruises, I'm exhausted. So it's just not worth it for me. And then honestly, the ports that you're going to, like I've been to Cabo San Lucas multiple times. I've been to Ensenada. So it's like the ports just aren't attractive to me because I've been there and I've kind of done that. Where I would cruise West Coast again is getting on different ships, but it's just not like I'm not in a rush to get back to the West Coast. Ideally, my plan is to hit as many new ports as possible. So I'm always looking at ships with itineraries that I haven't really cruised on. So the West Coast just doesn't give that variety for me. But yeah, as of now, this year, we don't have anything out of the West Coast. Let's see here. Jeanette says, "Hi, I'm a new cruiser and I've been on 2 cruises looking to take more. My question, is it better to book through a travel agent than the cruise ship agents?" Absolutely. Yes, it's definitely better to book through a travel agent, but not just a travel agent who cruises. So this is the thing. A lot of times those cruise ship agents, if you're talking like calling into Carnival or Royal or MSC or whatever, a lot of times, honestly, they've never cruised. You can ask them, "Hey, have you ever been on a cruise ship?" Lots of them will tell you, "No, I've never been on a cruise ship." They're reading from a script. I know this because I did it at one point. So they're reading from a script. They have like a Google system that, like, if you ask a question, they can type it in and give you an answer, but they're not answering from experience. So it's better to book it through a travel agent who actually cruises and travels and can give you, tips, tricks, recommendations, or what have you, and not just tell you about it, but can also show you. So having, our YouTube channel and, all of the content, like I said, I've been on 86 cruises. I more than likely, if you tell me, "Hey, what do you think of Utopia of the Seas?" I can just send you the link. "Hey, here's my ship tour. Here's my review of Utopia here." And I can answer all the questions you have about that ship, about the ports, about some excursions, because I'm out there doing it. So that is the biggest perk of that. Also, a lot of times if you're booking through a cruise ship agent over the phone, unless you find a what are they called? Uh Personal vacation planner, unless you have a personal vacation planner that is just assigned to you, you're going to be getting random people every time you call in. So it's better to have one travel agent that's your point of contact, that all questions, payments, changes, recommendations, everything goes through that travel agent. But I understand why some people choose to book directly. That is perfectly your business. I'm not in the business of trying to convince. In fact, I had to tell somebody that this week. I'm not in the business of trying to convince you to book with me. I think I have a pretty good track record if you just look online. And so I understand that there's different preferences. Whoever just became a channel member, I appreciate it, or a subscriber. It just kind of popped up real fast. So it really is your preference on how you want to do it. Just keep in mind that you're paying a commission regardless of how you book. So if you support a small business, like I said, we charge no fees. There's a built-in commission regardless of how you book your cruise, whether it's online, over the phone with Carnival or the other cruise line, or through a travel agent. You book through a travel agent, the commission comes back to us. You help support a small business rather than giving back to the billion-dollar cruise industry. But ultimately, just know that travel agents book directly with the cruise line. So it's not like you're booking through my portal or booking through you. I'm still using the same tool that those online Carnival agents are using. I'm using that as well. And your payments go directly to the cruise line. We don't touch payments, we don't keep payments. Everything goes directly there. We're just your point of contact. We're kind of your experts when it comes to cruising. Here, if you have questions, I have some clients that, you know, they just want to book to support. They have no questions. They need no recommendations. They just book. I have some that have booked dozens of cruises with me because they just want to book and help support. Then I have some that are newbies that want some guidance, and that's what I'm here for. So either way works. But I would definitely say find a travel agent that you trust. And if cruising is your thing, I would say go with a travel agent that specializes in cruising. There are travel agents that do different things. There are some, not to say that one's better than the other, but my honest belief is you can't be an expert in everything. And so you have some that sell everything. You have some that book flights, hotels, resorts, everything. And then you have some that focus on certain areas. So me personally, I would go where if cruising is my thing, I'm going to find a cruise expert. So yeah, but it's all personal preference. Uh, let's see here. Sorry, I lost where I was. Recall hubby and I are almost at the highest level with Royal. We love celebrity as well. We were switching up in May with going on the NCL Prima. Mistake or not? Be honest. I always think it's good to switch up. I'm not loyal to any cruise line. So if you're asking me, I would say give NCL Prima a try. They don't do like any status match between like Royal and NCL or what have you, or Celebrity. I would say give them a try. Honestly, it's like you don't know what you're missing until you try a different cruise line. And so there's only so many Celebrity ships. There's only so many Royal Caribbean ships. So it's nice to kind of get a taste of something different. And then sometimes, honestly, as much as I love Royal, I love Celebrity, you're gonna get better itineraries with NCL. There are some cruise lines that, you know, the focus may not be on the ships. The food may not always be the best, but they might have some of the best itineraries out there. So I always look at it from that perspective too. I always say give it a try. Like I'm not loyal to any. I'm not one that's trying to get the highest status for anyone. I'm just trying to get on the best ship, the best itinerary for me at the moment. So I don't even when I book a cruise, I never even think, what status am I? What level am I? I just book the cruise because I like what I see or whatever, and that's it. Um, let's see here. Grandma Teddy says, my daughter and grands love the Celebrity Summit Kids Club in Puerto Rico. Nice. And it works for some people. But I've had some that thought getting on Celebrity with Kids was a good idea. And they were like, there were no activities for them. So it depends on the vibe of your kids. Welcome in, Chickadee. Appreciate you being here. Thank you so much, Mr. Retha. Says, please push that thumbs up. Um, have I been to Turks and Caicos from a cruise ship? Yes, I have many times. So if you're visiting Turks and Caicos by I can't talk through a cruise ship, you're going to stop at Grand Turk. Grand Turk is a very common cruise port. It is truly a beach day. Um, so when you talk about Turks and Caicos, you're not visiting all of Turks and Caicos. You're visiting Grand Turk, which is a small island within the Turks and Caicos. That's the only that's the only area there that you can actually dock at. So it's a beach day. It's like 13 miles long, I think, maybe not even that long. Truly just beaches, wild donkeys, a lighthouse. That is it. So most people just get off and go to the beach because the beach is right there at the dock. Explore with Eli says, hello, I boarded the NCL Getaway next Thursday. Have you been on that ship? I have not. I have not been on Getaway. But which one was? No, I haven't been on that class at all. Yep. But have fun. On the go with Yellow says flights everywhere are expensive. It's ridiculous. They are. They are. I literally just booked my flight because I have a broad trip happening in May, and I was like, man, I don't want to pay for this. But it's part of what I do. So it's like, man, I really didn't want to pay for this. But I had to. So yeah, I get it. Thank you so much, Duchess says just subscribed. I appreciate that. Michelle says, I also fly from BWI. Booked the first flight out, has been cheaper fresh. Yeah, booking that first flight out is usually cheaper. On the go with Yellow says we'll drive to Buffalo or Syracuse. Yeah. Oh, on Breeze. Yep, I fly Breeze too. We fly Breeze, Allegiant, um, Spirit, Frontier, all of those. Says I will be sailing. Welcome in. Aaliyah says hello. I'll be sailing out of Seattle June 2026 on Royal Princess and would like some recommendations for accommodations before and after sailing and port transportation. So I personally, it depends on your budget. And guys, this is where it's valuable to have a travel agent because these types of questions would just automatically happen. Like, or when you come to that one person. Because if you book directly, if you call them, they're gonna be like, I don't know. But I would say depends on your budget. I personally would prefer to stay near the port or near the downtown area in Seattle. Those hotels are easily going to run $300-400 a night, though. If you stay near the airport, for me, a lot of the hotels there just have very low ratings, but the cost is more affordable. So you're looking at about 200-250 per night. As far as the specific hotel, the one that I'm thinking of that I like, that I will probably stay at again, is the Sheraton, which I think it's called Grand Sheraton. It is downtown, right down from Pike Market, right near where the cruise ships are. So you're not too far from any of that. You can do a quick Uber to the cruise ship. If you are staying near the airport, I honestly haven't found personally one that I like. I was at a Holiday Inn and I did not care for it. Thank you so much, Love and Adventure. Appreciate you becoming a channel member. Um, we stayed at the Holiday Inn. I was not a fan of it, but I had a client, I think it was Town Place Suites, and they sent me video and pictures, and that was a nice one. So I would say maybe go with that. Port transportation, most hotels aren't offering it, depending if you're staying downtown, they don't because the cruise terminals are not too far away. If you're staying at the airport, some will offer it. They're gonna charge a fee, and they're gonna charge you more than if you book directly, and they're probably gonna use a company called Seattle Express. That is like the number one company for transfers, and so if you book it through Seattle Express, a lot of times it's cheaper than if you add it on through the hotel. So if you call your hotel and ask them, "Hey, do you offer transfer service?" They probably will say yes. They're probably going to say, "Oh, it's $35 per person." But if you call Seattle Express, it might be 25. So first contact the hotel, find out if they offer it. And if they say Seattle Express, then just compare the pricing that they're offering versus what Seattle Express is offering. Uh, Ubers can be expensive. So just know that. I would go the route of a shuttle versus an Uber just because of the cost of the Ubers there in Seattle. Oh, he says, I'm on the breeze. I'm on the breeze. I'm thinking Breeze Airlines. You're talking Carnival Breeze. Dolores, welcome in, welcome in. Says hello from Columbus. Uh, on the go with Yellow says casino guests get on early too. I would never pay the cost for faster to the fun. Do casino guests get on early? I've never heard that. Are you talking about for Carnival? I've never heard that Carnival that yes, certain levels. You're right. Certain levels of casino. If you are like elite, what is the new one they call it? Echo. So there are like really like if you're like a true gambler, you get priority embarkation, but all casino players don't get priority. Have you ever cruised sail Queen Elizabeth? I have not. I have not. Um, like with Cunard, I have not yet. Damaris, welcome in. Says first several. Is it Damaris? How do you determine when it's better to use a ship's excursions versus third party? I almost always think it's better to use third party without even comparing, just because of my experience with third party excursions. 90% of the time, the third party shore excursion is going to be a lot cheaper than the ship. And for the most part, if you compare, you'll see that they're pretty much offering the exact same thing, but you're paying a little bit more to have that reassurance of the ship return to ship guarantee with the cruise line, which I'm a very strategic cruiser and traveler, so I'm not going to get left. And if I do get left, I have insurance. um, and so I'm just not willing to pay that premium for that guarantee. Also, a lot of times comparing apples to apples, a lot of times the itineraries might be the exact same, but you're going to have 60 people with the cruise line versus 15 with third party. Because third party, a lot of times they're going to be in like smaller vans and buses, whereas the cruise line will get one of those massive buses to get people to and from. So for me, it's almost always better to go third party. There are a few times where for instance, the Dominica vlog that was just released yesterday, the day before yesterday, that was through the ship only because it was my first time there. It seemed like that tour was very comparable to the other tours that were being offered, and it was the same thing. So I just figured I'd do it through the ship because Azamara also does small group tours. So, and there was maybe, I don't know, 15 of us on that tour. So, um, Yeah, I do look at options. A lot of times what I do is I look at the cruise line's website just to see what's available for a port, and then I just go on, like, buy a tour, Shore Excursions Group, Shore Excursioneer, and just kinda compare and see what, might work better. Uh, On the go with Yellow says, "Yes, I would pick your 100th cruise too." Yes. Welcome in, Lake Cupid. I appreciate you being here, and welcome into the 207 of you watching. I appreciate you guys spending part of your Monday here. Ms. Dixon says, "Can you take protein shakes on board? Similar to the way people take canned sodas." You cannot. You can take protein shakes on board if you have a medical reason why you need them, but it has to be approved through like the guest access or the medical department, special needs department. But you can't just carry on protein shakes. You might be able to slip them on if they are small cans, like canned sodas, but for the most part, they're not allowing it. A lot of times, it's at the discretion of the people that are doing the X-rays. So, a lot of times people don't realize, like, it's not the actual cruise ship that's doing the inspection, it's, the port workers that are doing the X-ray. So some don't even care, like, it might say you can take 1 bottle of wine per person, and somebody might have 2 in their bag. They're not gonna question it a lot of times, but sometimes you get that 1 or 2 that takes their job extremely seriously, and rightfully so, and they might stop you, but for the most part, protein shakes are not allowed unless you have a medical reason and it's been approved. Um, I'm currently looking at road recruitment for my solo. My question, do you recommend, which ship? It depends. It depends on budget. Budget is always going to be the key when selecting a ship because I was just on Radiance of the Seas. It's a lower price sailing. I personally would not recommend that one. I personally, and there are people that will say they love Radiance. I didn't care for Radiance. I would choose Utopia or Wonder of the Seas or one of the other ships for a solo on Royal because they're better ships. I felt like better food, better entertainment, but it all comes down to budget. Let's see here. Is it New Jigs Travel says, now that you've been on a variety of cruises, what is the next cruise you'd love to check out? You may have already said this, but wanted to ask. I want to do more luxury, so I'm looking at river cruising as well. So Alma Waterways is going to be up next. Between Alma Waterways and Avalon, I'm also wanting to do more. I'm going to do more Explore Journeys. I'm already booked for 3 Explore cruises this year. So stay tuned for that. I'm trying to hit up all their ships. I've only been on Explorer 2. So they have Explorer 1, Explorer 3. I'm booked on Explorer 5. Now I got to figure out how to squeeze in Explorer 4. um, but luxury, I'm looking to try something just really extravagant. I'm looking at like Ritz Carlton. I'm looking at Regent Seven Seas. I'm looking at trying to get on some of those lines for some of their newer Oceana, some of their newer ships. So that's kind of what I'm looking forward to. I really feel like I'm turning more luxury because I've done so much of the mainstream, which I still love the mainstream, but I'm looking forward to doing more luxury. And me doing more luxury is helping with the agency too. So we not only book mainstream cruise lines, we also book luxury. And it's one of those things, you sell more of what you sail. And so if that means I'm going to get more Explorer clients because I'm cruising Explorer journeys, I'm all for it. Um, let's see here. It says, "Do you think you can make 5:30 and still go to Shebang or the Italian?" What do you mean? Do you think you can make your regular dining time and then still go eat? Yeah, sure, you can. That's up to you. Um, Paul says, "Have you ever sailed on Carnival Vista? And if so, is it a good ship for the family?" I have not cruised on Vista, but I've cruised on Panorama, Horizon, so some of the Vista class ships, and love them. Probably my second favorite class for Carnival. Perfect for families. They're not like mega ships like Celebration, Jubilee, and Mardi Gras. A little bit smaller, but still they have a nice what do they call it? The sports court area. They have like a little bike thing that you can ride. They have a nice arcade. They also have some of the ships still have the theater, the thrill theater, whatever they call it. So yeah, I think it's perfect for families. I haven't sailed on Vista particularly, but they're all pretty much the same. Oh, I've sailed on Firenze and Venezia, and those are sister ships to Vista. Let's see here. And I'm gonna be live for another 10 minutes and then I have to get out of here. So say recall, a quick question about cruise line service to provide sending your luggage to your home airport. Um, I'm not sure what you're referring to. Quick question about cruise line service to most cruise lines don't offer that as a service. where they're going to send your luggage to your home airport. Most cruise lines, if you're abroad, if you're cruising abroad, there are services that will ship your luggage home if you pay for that. But if you're cruising out of Miami, Port Canaveral, I've never heard of that, where they're sending your luggage back home or to your home airport. The exception would be for, I heard something that Virgin might have been doing something or testing something out with that. Seattle, they do. They have, I forgot what they call the program, where they will check your luggage on the ship and then it'll meet you back home at the airport. But that's not really a common thing for cruising, at least not out of the States. Um, Leah Arnold says, I'll take my first NCL cruise on Joy next week. How do they differ from each other? Talking about Carnival. Carnival's more upbeat. Carnival's going to attract more families, more children. NCL is what they call freestyle. So everything is freestyle. So like there's no dining reservations. You show up when you want to show up. There's really no dress code. You dress how you want to dress. It's very free flowing. For me, NCL doesn't have as many activities as like Carnival, but you're going to have that same cruise feel, where you're going to have activities, you're going to have pool deck things happening. You're going to have the buffet and specialty dining. So you're going to have a lot of those things similar. Just Carnival is a bit more upbeat than NCL, in my opinion. NCL is more for relaxing. They will have some upbeat things happening. So it's just a different vibe. I personally, if I had to choose between Carnival and NCL, I would choose Carnival. Just my thoughts. On the Guthiella says, right, key to trying to get casino sailings is having a budget, but it isn't consistent. I love to play, so I tend to get good offers. Yeah. And I mean, I'm gonna play just enough to get an offer or to get a little bit of money in my pocket and I'm out. So that's why I'm getting like the old chips for Royal. Secret Gem, welcome in, says, good afternoon. Just got back from Resilient Lady, trying our first MSC soon. Hope you have a great time. Matthew says, Royal Beach worth it. I did a whole vlog on that and I talked about that at the very beginning. For me, it's not worth it. If the price was right, I would probably be willing to pay like $75 or less to go back to Royal Beach Club. For me, the price that I paid, $140 or whatever, I wouldn't pay that again. It's not worth it for me. But if you are a resort person, if you're a person that likes all inclusive, you like the drinks, you like the beach, you like, this is definitely for you. It's not for everybody. It's not my style because for me, I want more than a beach day when I travel. I want more than a pool day. And that's all it was. So if that is your thing, because some people cruise for the pool, some people cruise for the beach. If that's what you do, then you might pay this and it'll be worth it to you. For me, it's not worth it. I'd rather spend that on an excursion that I've never taken. Doretha says, if you remember, with all the cruises you've been on, would you cruise MSC Divina again with it being an older ship? Yes, I would. Divina was my first solo cruise ever. I love Divina, beautiful ship. I would cruise Divina as an older ship over most of MSC's other older ships. Like I was on MSC Orchestra, which is older than Divina. Wasn't I love that it was out of Brazil, but I didn't care for the ship. So I would definitely cruise MSC Divina again, but it still wouldn't be my first choice. I would probably go with Seashore, Grandiosa, Seaside, Seascape, those ships before Divina, but I would absolutely cruise Divina again. Courtney says, can you explain cruise cash, bar cash on Carnival? Yeah, that's cruise cash, bar cash is pretty much like onboard credit that you pay for. And so what I tell people, especially some of my clients that are very budget conscious, that want to have a good time, but they don't want to put a credit card down on file or a debit card, or they just don't have a lot of funds. And they're like, well, I want to make sure I can get a drink package, or I want to make sure that I can do this and that. I encourage them to, when you get paid, put $25 in cruise cash. Because what happens is by the time you get on board the ship, let's say your cruise is a year away, and you know, every 2 weeks you're putting $25 there. So $50 a month. That's what, $600? You now have $600 on your cruise, on your onboard spending account when you get on the ship. That it's almost, I'm not gonna say free money, but you get what I'm saying. Like you paid that all along. And so when you get on board the ship, you can now buy your drinks, you can, specialty dining. Now keep in mind things cost more money when you book them on board the ship, but just having that money there helps a lot of people to not overspend. It also helps them to budget out so that last minute before their cruise, they're not trying to figure out how am I going to get a few $100s to enjoy the cruise and do things that I want to do. So really that's all it is. It's like onboard credit that you pay for. You cannot use it in advance. It is non-refundable. So if you have $600 on your account and you get on board the ship, you must use that. You can't cash it out. It's non-refundable. So you need to buy souvenirs, food, whatever. So it's a good thing to use, especially if you're budget conscious. I don't In the beginning we used Cruise Cash. We don't use it anymore. But it's helpful for that reason if you're one that likes to budget out. Um, I don't ever recommend getting bar cash. They have bar cash, they have photo cash, they have all kinds of things. Just get the cruise cash because the cruise cash can be used for anything, whereas the bar cash can only be used at the bar. So if you buy $500 in bar cash and you don't spend $500 in drinks, then you lost it. But if you buy the cruise cash, that can be used for anything on board the ship: photos, specialty dining, souvenirs, drinks, all of that. So not all cruise lines offer that, but it's just onboard credit that you pay for. Let's see here. Christina says, I've been a subscriber only for maybe 2 months and looking at your cruise walks catching up. I really love the content. Just want to let you know. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yet to see your Alaska cruise. Any recommendations? It depends on the vibe that you're looking for. If you're looking more family friendly, then you're going to go Royal, Carnival. Our first two Alaska cruises were Royal and Carnival. I've cruised Princess for Alaska. Princess is going to be your number one. It's ranked number one for Alaska, along with Holland America. So number one, Princess; number two, Holland America. The price points are a lot higher. But if you're looking for more scenic cruising, if you're trying to get to Glacier Bay, they are the only two that are licensed to get through Glacier Bay. Princess more than Holland. And so you'll see a lot of their itineraries will stop, or you'll have that scenic look in Glacier Bay. So you have to kind of look at what is it that you want to get out of Alaska. Also, because they have priority in Alaska, Princess and Holland, you're going to find longer port days. Whereas, for instance, Royal Caribbean, like we were on Royal, was it this year? 2025, we were on Royal for Alaska. And there was like one port day. We were there 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. That was it. That was the port day. I think that might have been Skagway, maybe. We were there 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. So if you're a late riser, that means you're getting up 9, 10 o'clock. By the time you get off the ship, good. So you have to look at that. But you really can't go wrong with any Alaska cruise because you're going to get views regardless of where you're at. But I always recommend people looking at port times. What is it that you want to see in Alaska? Are you more so looking for whales and that type of thing? Find something with Icy Strait Point and Juneau. So it really just depends. But budget wise, Carnival, Royal Caribbean, MSC are going to be your best for Alaska. But if you want the best Alaskan experience, Princess, Holland America. But Princess and Holland America aren't for everyone because of the clientele that they tend to attract. But if you can bypass that, it could be an older demographic, then you'll be perfectly fine, because you're going to have an amazing experience in Alaska. You're going to have an amazing time in Alaska regardless of the cruise line you're on. Just know it's expensive. um, Kelly says, what are the best ships to cruise onto the Caribbean and that are fun besides Carnival? Again, that's personal preference. Carnival's fun. If you like Carnival's vibe, I don't think there's another more fun cruise line. Carnival is going to be the funnest it's going to get, the most fun it's going to be. I'm not saying that right. Um, but you have Royal Caribbean, you're going to have a good time with Royal. I personally, I'm to the point where it's not about the fun, it's about the port. So start looking at other, like leaving out of like San Juan, Puerto Rico. You're going to hit up some of those southern Caribbean ports that you would not get to from Miami or Port Canaveral. I was on Azamara cruises recently. It wasn't, I mean, they had some fun elements. I like the White Knight. I like some of the entertainment. They had some fun elements, but I wouldn't consider it a fun cruise. But I hit up some amazing, amazing ports on that cruise. So, fun is relative. What I think is fun, you may not find fun. But Carnival for me is going to be the funnest cruise line out of going to the Caribbean. But you might think NCL is fun. Let's see here. Okay, I just talked about Alaska. Jeanette says, what's your travel agent information? Our website is, if you just type in Major Adventures Travel, we're going to pop up. Major Adventures Travel, or MHFamilyAdventures, our agency will pop up there. Let's see here. Trisha says, love your content. I've been stalking you since I found you, waiting on a real opinion of Beach Club. I was there on opening day, but prefer Coco Cay. Oh, I prefer Coco Cay as well. If you look on YouTube, I already have that video up. I posted it the next day. So yeah, it's already up on YouTube, but I prefer Coco Cay over Nassau Beach Club, Royal Beach Club. To Love and Adventure says, love your live. So happy I'm able to catch you this week. You're always so informative, very unbiased and helpful. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Cassandra. I appreciate that. Cassandra, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. D. Whitmore says, I'm booking with you next time. I received a free balcony, but I just don't know where they got their total from. Now, let me tell you this. As much as I love a casino deal, we don't necessarily book casino deals. And this is why, and guys, I'm very honest, very transparent. Some people don't like it, but as a travel agent, we're in the business to make money. So if you have a free offer, we don't make money. So as much as I would love to help and advise, it's not always worth it to take on casino deals. Now, I do accept casino deals to like existing clients because I have some clients that, they might cruise a bunch of different cruise lines and then they got this random offer. Of course, I'm going to book that. Of course, I'm going to help them plan their cruise, but I don't necessarily accept new clients that are coming with free casino offers because we're not getting paid. So as much as we would love to help, we might turn that away only because at this time, like our queue thankfully is high. We're already in record sales for the year. And it's just, we can't take on things that aren't business sound, if that makes sense. As much as we love to help. That's why we do these cruise Q&As, because we can't possibly help everyone, but I can go live and answer questions and do as much as I can, but I also have to make sure that I'm there to help support my clients. And I have to watch taking on things that's not going to help make us money ultimately. So I know that probably doesn't sound the best, but I got to keep it real. Um, and I wish cruise lines did give travel agents commission. Some you don't get any, some it might be like $30, whatever, which $30 is better than none. But I'll be very honest, a lot of times the free offers that come in, those are the clients that are constantly calling, constantly need support, constantly need help, which we're here to do that. But it starts being, when you're looking at, it doesn't balance out. So just a little inside stuff. If you're a travel agent, you know what I'm talking about. Janine says, this is why we went with NCL, the itinerary. Yes, yes. Yeah, NCL has some amazing, I've said this. NCL is not my favorite cruise line. Can I sail NCL? Absolutely. Will I find something I like to eat on NCL? Yes. Will I have a good time? Yes. Not my favorite cruise line, but I can tell you that I'm booked NCL to Greece. I'm booked NCL someplace else. I'm booked because they have some of the best itineraries. And when I talk port intensive, I love port intensive. So I can be okay with an older ship that may not have some of the amenities of a newer ship, but it's taking me to some amazing destinations. So I can overlook all of that. So I've said it before. Like I said, we have a group with over 100 people joining us on NCL next year to Greece, because Greece is such an amazing destination. And literally, we have a port every single day. By the way, I will be testing out this itinerary soon, because I like to prepare for my groups. And so I will be testing this whole itinerary out here really soon. So stay tuned for that. All right, I gotta get ready to get out of here. Have you swum with the pigs? I have not, and I will not. It's not my thing. Um, mm, this is not my thing. No, I've seen stories. I've seen the poop in the water. I can't. Mm-mm. I'll go snorkeling. I'll do all that, but I just won't intentionally go swimming with pigs. And honestly, sometimes, like I've heard stories that sometimes you're not really cared for. Thank you so much for becoming a channel member. Is that channel member? Or a subscriber or member? Thank you so much for becoming a channel member. I appreciate that. Sometimes the pigs aren't necessarily cared for like they should be. And so, yeah, I personally wouldn't. Denise, welcome in, welcome in. Says, I'm headed to Aruba on Oasis of the Seas. Have you been there? If so, which beach would you recommend? We've only been to Aruba once, surprisingly. And actually we were hosted by Resort for a Day, so we did a Resort for a Day pass. I don't even remember which resort. So I honestly can't advise on Aruba yet because I've only been there once. It's a port that I want to get back to. But whatever beach I was at for, um, was it Flamingo Beach? Whatever that beach was, it was beautiful. It was a beautiful beach, but I just don't, I can't really advise beyond that. Yes, Marriott across from the port in Seattle. Yes. Love the Sheraton. Yeah, the Sheraton is probably going to be my go-to for Seattle. Embassy Suite, SeaTac. Okay, good. Thank you guys for helping. Ronald, welcome in. Says MSC still getting my cash over the last year or so. Considering the pros and cons, the value for me has been and continues to be tremendous with MSC. Hopefully, they keep their prices affordable. I say that all the time. I say that all the time. Like MSC is really MSC has some amazing itineraries. So a lot of people will say I don't like MSC, but check out their itineraries because I was in Brazil last year because of MSC. Is Carnival in Brazil? No. Is Royal Caribbean in Brazil? No. So it's like you have to look, where do I want to go? Like I love the Caribbean. I'll go to the Caribbean every day. But it gets tiring. Like it's like I want to see new places, new destinations. So sometimes you have to say, I can bypass the fact that the food may not be 100%, but it's going to get me to where I can go get some really good food, something different. So yes, MSC definitely offers an amazing value, and I will always shout praises for MSC because of that. Because honestly, they've afforded so many people that may not have been able to afford cruising the chance to do so. I'm speaking that from experience with my clients. When you can get in fact, I just booked a client today. It would have been like $400, $400 solo, but she had drinks and Wi-Fi. I mean, a 4-night cruise. Where are you going to find that at? You're not. Pitter Patter, welcome in, says, hubby and I love thermal spas. What's your favorite? My favorite thermal spa, Princess. Was it which one was that one? Sun Princess is my favorite, but I also love MSC World America. Those are probably my two favorite thermal spas. Uh, Stella says, enjoy your videos. I'm taking celebrity for the first time this year on Excel. You're gonna love it. Oh my gosh. And I'm so like every time somebody says Excel, I'm like having FOMO. Like I did not book that one and I'm not booked on it. I need to get booked on it. You just sent me a reminder. Hopefully the music isn't old or drab. I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of content out there for Excel. I say check it out for sure. Welcome in Together We Travel. Appreciate you being here. Ranita, welcome in. And Together We Travel. I think are you cruising right now? I think I saw a video from you. Maybe it just popped up. On the Go Theater says, I don't know what my play level is, but we were able to board early. I didn't ask. I went with it. Yeah, of course. Noel says, which insurance would you recommend for medical and if you are left? Um, so my go-to, and I'm not recommending this for you because I can't advise you on specific insurance to buy for you, but we use Allianz. Allianz is going to cover medical, emergency evacuation, things like that. Now, keep in mind, insurance is only going to cover you to an extent if you're left behind. If you're negligent, then you're not going to be covered. You're going to be having to fork it out yourself. But if there's some other reasons why you might have gotten left behind, let's say there was a medical reason, you had to go to a clinic or something before you got back on board and you got left, then insurance may, and I always say may because it depends on your policy, may cover you to get back home. But also remember with insurance, you got to pay up front for that and then you get reimbursed. Um, you'll get reimbursed later. So keep that in mind. But our go-to for insurance is Allianz. Multi KWJ says, hi, we're selling on Margaritaville at Sea Paradise in March. Do you know the dry dock improvements? They sent a vague email today. Also, what are your thoughts about Virgin Voyages for seniors new to cruising? The only update that I received was that the buffet was no longer a buffet. They're calling it kind of like a galley. So sounds like kind of like Virgin Voyages. I don't know if they're going to be serving the food moving forward. It sounds like they did some refresh on certain cabins and there was something else. I'll look for it in a minute. Um, there was something else. Um, so not like massive updates, but there were quite a few. But Virgin Voyages attracts people of all ages. So yeah, you're gonna see a wide range of ages, races, lifestyles. Virgin attracts it all. So I would definitely say give Virgin a try as a senior. Um, just know it's a little quirky. It's a little quirky, but I've grown to really like Virgin. Polly Chucker says, I agree. I book mostly third party. Yes. Yeah, on the go with the yellow says, hit that like button. I appreciate we have 246. I think this is a record for our Monday Midday Cruise Q&A. If you are new here, please consider hitting that subscribe button. We talk nothing but cruising here. Everything you see on our channel is cruise related. I go live on Mondays when I'm not cruising to answer your cruise questions. I've been on 86 cruises, preparing to go on my 87th. I leave tomorrow for my 87th cruise. And I have a huge 100th cruise coming up. So you want to be there for that. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. All right. I got to get ready to get out of here though. Let's see. Just scrolling. Savvy Voyages says, I agree with Radiance. I wouldn't recommend to a new cruise. I would recommend any of the Oasis class ships. Yes, yes. And Radiance works for some if it's within your budget. I say give it a try. It just was not. It just kind of started off rocky for me, and it's sometimes it's hard to there were just some things like my if you guys saw my video, my sheets were filthy, the cabin steward, and I'm not one to film situations. If like you see fight videos, you see things like I just don't do that. And I don't typically film like cabin stewards and I don't do that type of thing. And so many people are like, well, you're saying she had attitude, but we don't see, we don't hear that. I'm not gonna film that. But the rooms where it was nasty on the phone with me, um, eventually sent someone else an hour later to bring me sheets that they handed to me and I told me I had to make my own bed, said he couldn't do it, or wasn't going to do it, changed my sheets. So that kind of was like, okay. Then I was served raw chicken. Um, so there were just like little things that just kept happening throughout the cruise. And I just was not feeling it. Besides going to Royal Beach Club, that was the best thing of the cruise. I personally, yeah, did not like it. On the go with YOLO says Explorer. Yes. Yes. Welcome in Mickey's Adventures. Appreciate you being here. As always, just realized I never said hello. I was doing something and listening. I appreciate you being here. And as always, Mickey's coming through with match the thumbs up with the number of participants. We appreciate you. Cassandra says, have you sailed on NCL Aqua? I have not. Have I? No, I have not sailed on Aqua. I was booked for Aqua, but I had to cancel because of illness. Um, Carrot says, what we are wanting to try Princess. What is your opinion on a first time ship? Anything within that, I think Discovery class, like this Discovery Princess, Sky Princess, any of those middle-aged ships, I would say go for. Stay away from like Diamond Princess and like I did Crown Princess. I liked it, but it was a lot older, a lot smaller. I would say Sky Princess is probably one of my favorites outside of like Star Princess and Sun Princess. Um, you really can't go wrong. But if you want more modern, upbeat, definitely go with Star or Sun because um, those ships are just beautiful. The food is amazing. I absolutely love. I haven't been on Star. I was on Sun. Yeah, I was on Sun. I would say go with that. But Sky Discovery. Those are my two favorites. All righty. To Love and Adventure says we're booked on Seascape on Super Bowl weekend out of Galveston. My question is, have you had any luck with eSIMs for internet while you cruise? I don't use eSIMs when I cruise. I just get the internet for the most part ports that you visit depending on your carrier. We have T-Mobile. We're able to access our phones whenever we're in port. The only time, and I don't even get an eSIM when I go abroad. I just get an international plan. So I don't the hassle of dealing with eSIMs. The cost of my international plan, I can get like 10 days of international for like 30 or $40 with T-Mobile. So I just do that. Like I'm not gonna deal with the eSIMs, but I'm not even sure. Alrighty. Sorry, guys. I have to get ready to get out of here. Phil and D, welcome in. Appreciate you guys being here. Uh, hope you had a great time on your recent sailing. Let's see here. Sorry, scrolling. Which ship had the worst food experience for me? Mm, NCL Sky. Can you get all of the money back if you not use all your cruise cash? No, you cannot. Yeah, you can buy a gift card. That's a good idea. So, like, let's say you have $100 cruise cash left. You can go to the Cherry on Top, which is the candy shop, and you can get gift cards. I've actually done that with casino deals. Like, they might get $500 onboard credit, and I'm like, well, I'm not spending that in the casino. Let me go buy a gift card. So I would go to the Cherry on Top, get Cherry on Top, and I would get like a $250 gift card, cash out the rest. So yeah, you can do that. Are you allowed to bring wine or soda on board MSC Cruises? No, you cannot. They will not let you bring anything on board. Anything on board. Travel Yes We See, thank you for being here. It says Carnival's probably better to buy gift cards instead of cruise cash. True. Card Depot is currently discounting 8%, and you can also use that for everything on Carnival. They email gift cards to you in 3 minutes. Good information. Um, yeah, I'll make note of that because I have some cruises I need to pay off. Let's see here. Sorry, just scrolling, just scrolling. Appreciate you guys being here. I have to get ready to get out of here though. Uh Sharika says, from travel advisor to travel advisor, I totally agree with the casino deals. Yeah. As much as I want to help, I have to also make sure that it makes sense. Like we're in a business. It has to make sense. Let's see here. All right, guys, I do have to go. I apologize if I skipped your question. I will be live again on Monday, so make sure you stay tuned for that. I'm just trying to make sure. Um, oh, your sis is Cassandra says, I'm going to book your group MSC for 2027. Yeah, I don't think I mentioned that. We are going to be on board MSC World Atlantic for the Thanksgiving sailing, which is also the second sailing of the ship for 2027. If you want to get on board, I think we're up to like 30, 31 cabins maybe. So yeah, if you want to get on board with us, we still have a few cabins left. Um, let's see here. Um, oh, welcome in. Welcome in. Appreciate you guys being here. And did you guys want to meet my award? I think so. I believe so. Says, which would you choose, Carnival Sunrise or MSC Seaside? For the vibe, Carnival Sunrise for sure. I would choose Carnival Sunrise over Seaside. Seaside's going to be a better price point, possibly. Carnival Sunrise is going to give you a better vibe. Um, and why I would choose Carnival Sunrise over Seaside. So MSC Seaside is a beautiful ship, but it's also one of the MSC ships that has very limited included options as far as food. So the newer ships like MSC World America, MSC World Europa, MSC World Atlantic, they have like food kiosks and things, pizza burger where you can get, food pretty much all day long, like on Carnival, how you have Guy's Burgers and Blue Iguana. You have that on Sunrise. If you go on MSC Seaside, just know you're only going to have buffet and main dining. That is really it. They do have like a small little section by the pool where you can get like pizza and burger, like a pizza, slice of pizza or a burger, like throughout the day. But there's nothing else. So that's usually a deciding factor for my clients. If you are somebody that likes to eat and snack and things, MSC. If it's not World America, World Atlantic, World Europa, you're not gonna really have a lot of other options. So if that's important to you, I would go with Sunrise for the vibe. Sunrise. If I had to pick today between Carnival Sunrise and MSC Seaside, I've sailed Sunrise 3 times. I would still pick Sunrise. Um, let's see here. All right, guys, I do have to go. Oh, best spot to relax at Royal Beach Club, the chill side. Very chill. Light music. It was quiet. I don't know if you saw the clip of me in the pool. I was in the pool by myself. Like it was wonderful. It was wonderful. All right. Well, again, I appreciate we had over 200 people watching today. I appreciate you guys being here. I hope you enjoy the rest of your MLK Day weekend. And stay tuned because I do have a vlog coming out tonight. It's going to be of Martinique, and this is going to be Dice, our son Dice, his editorial debut because he edited this vlog for me. I'm turning over editing tasks to him because I can't I can't manage everything else and edit, and that's just I feel so much better, guys. Y'all don't know the relief I felt yesterday when I handed him the content and said, make it do what it do. Just do it. And he did it. So stay tuned for that vlog. It's coming out, I think at 6:15. I need to set a reminder because I'll sit here and forget. 6:15. And then it's going to redirect to Carlene, See It With C, for her live stream today. She's going to be doing a trip announcement. So make sure you follow there. I will be live on next Monday. I will be heading on Scarlet Lady this week. So stay tuned for that. I will be going live probably from Scarlet Lady at some point. So stay tuned for that. But I appreciate you guys being here. And again, if you are new here, please consider hitting that subscribe button for us. We are on the road to 50K. And if you're looking to plan your next cruise vacation, feel free to contact us. Our agency is Major Adventures Travel. If you search MH Family Adventures or Major Adventures Travel, we're going to pop up. Google has been really working in our favor. So just Google us, we'll pop up, and we would love to help you. So if it's not a free casino offer. We appreciate you guys being here. I will see you guys next Monday for our Monday Midday Cruise Q&A. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.